Hi, I'm ChrisShamburg, author of Student-Powered Podcasting. The book started off, I was asked to teach an online English course for high school students, and we tried to think about ways that an online course can be better than a face-to-face course, and we wound up thinking about podcasting. It teaches a lot. It's very accessible. All the kids needed was an $8 microphone. They taught a lot of 21st century skills like appropriation, remix, synthesis. Plus we can get ideas that kids really like to do. That was a big part of it. So what we did was we looked at ways podcasting is used authentically in the world, successfully. What kids are really interested in, we gave them a lot of choices. And then we looked at 21st century skills that kids really would need to know, like the research on that. And we developed initially about 10 to 12 units, taught the class 3 or 4 times, then we came up with the 16 units that are in the book. So that's where it came from. Some of the things kids did were create a media review of something they liked. One kid picked a TV show she watched on YouTube, another kid picked a video game, some kids picked books. But here's what the important idea was, that they had an audience to go for. And I taught high school English, and I can't tell you how many times I probably frustrated kids when they're like, do I tell you that Shakespeare wrote Romeo and Juliet, or do you know that already? Where with this, they thought, what does the audience want to know? What do they know already, and what do they need to be reminded of? So when they had this review and an audience in mind, not just a theoretical, but a real audience, it answered so many organizational questions. So that's where the authenticity and the student interest came in. And the 21st century skills too, trying to craft a message towards a specific audience. And also using the medium of audio effectively was a big part of it. Another thing that the kids really liked that capitalized on the medium idea is that they made stories, like short audio plays. Now at first kids were visual, and they're like, can we add video? I'm like, give audio a try. And what was originally a limitation became something they loved. Because what they did was that, coconut shells, or actually cups, became a horse. Crunching potato chips became like someone creeping around on leaves. Spoons became a knife fight. So they could do all these creative things, really liberating themselves, because there was no visual, it was all audio. And that's something that comes up a lot of theory about audio that's very theoretical, and about capitalizing on a medium where it's very collaborative. The listeners supply the pictures. And once kids understood that, they became great manipulators of it, but very good, became much better, much more astute listeners and media consumers. I guess that's really what was at the heart of the course, getting them to be simultaneous, savvy consumers and creators of digital content.
So what will people learn if they read your book?
Well, we have the rationale there that explains kind of the big idea, the powerful ideas of podcasting and audio. Then there are 16 lessons that have been tried and true, revised and in print, step-by-step instructions and rubrics correlated to a lot of national standards. The ISTE standards, NCTE, IRA, history teachers, social studies standards, and TOEFL and WIDA standards. So no matter if you teach ESL, social studies, English language arts, you'll have at least 10 to 12 ideas that talk to your discipline. And what I also added was some of the sort of workarounds and opportunities to really modify and bring out the project. So everything from audio tours that kids think they're given a tour of a place that's really familiar to them, but they're really learning how to do really good research because they're doing background research, they're interviewing people. That was another successful project where kids gave a tour of a place that they really liked, an audio tour. And one kid did his church, which used to be an old movie palace. So he actually interviewed the caretaker, he did background research on the building, and he was loving it, and he didn't realize that he was really synthesizing ideas. And I guess if I could leave with one final idea, that's the key I saw, because we're doing research projects and remix projects, and it's almost the same, actually the same core mechanic of synthesis. Kids get a lot of different material from different sources, then they make something original out of it. Now, as a teacher and as a student, I've had a struggle getting that kind of paradox. Like, how could you be original with other people's material? The podcasting, with its low barriers to entry and a lot of material available, really teach that to kids. It gives them the process of being original by appropriating other people's material. and transforming the work.